What's lurking in the shadows of the next Predator movie? In February 2024, news was broken by The Hollywood Reporter about some Predator projects being worked on, with Dan Trachtenberg leading the charge. One of these projects is Predator Badlands, and it's set to kick off production in July 2024. So what is the update? There haven't been any rumors nor announcements about the cast for Predator Badlands yet, but it's set to have a female lead. Back in March 2016, director Shane Black had lunch with Arnold Schwarzenegger to chat about the Predator. In an early version of the movie, Schwarzenegger's character Dutch was supposed to show up at the end. He would have come out of a helicopter and invited Quinn, Casey, and Rory to join him, but Schwarzenegger wasn't pleased with the script at all. He said he wouldn't be a part of it unless they changed it up and gave him a bigger role. Another person who was in talks for the spotlight was the WWE wrestler The Rock, who was considered for the Dutch role. In September 2003, The Rock stated that he wasn't involved in any Predator movie. Then in 2005, there were rumors about another wrestler, John Cena, possibly being a part of a Predator remake. The storyline for Predator Badlands is different from Prey, which was set way back in 1719. This time, Badlands is set in the future, and it's set to have a female lead. Before The Predator was even announced, there was a lot of buzz about Rodriguez possibly coming back to make a direct sequel to Predators, with Adrian Brody returning. The ending of Predators left things wide open, but making a whole new story without repeating the first movie might be tough. Rodriguez mentioned back in July 2010 that he had a few ideas for Predator 4. He talked about how Predators set the stage for a new story, a new location, and a whole new world for a potential sequel. But if Rodriguez isn't involved, we might end up with a completely fresh storyline. Over the years, there have been quite a lot of ideas tossed around for a new Predator sequel. Before Predators hit the screen, there were 3 different scripts for what could have been Predator 3 making the rounds. One of them, written by Sam Park, is called Predator 3: The Deadlier of the Species. It's all about Arnold Schwarzenegger's character Dutch finding himself in New York during a blizzard. A predator shows up in the Big Apple on the hunt for Dutch, aiming to take him down. The second script, penned by Robert Rodriguez, goes by the name Predators. It takes place on a 17th century ship where a predator starts hunting down the crew. These guys have to fend off the creature with their old school weapons. Rodriguez chatted about his script in an interview back in early 2004. He mentioned it got turned down because the budget would have been too hefty, around $150 million. Now onto the third and final script, called The Zoo. It's quite a ride as it brings back both Dutch from Predator and Harrigan from Predator 2. These two get nabbed and taken to the Predator homeworld because they're the only ones who've ever taken down a Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger is making a big comeback after 36 years to the $741 million Predator franchise in the Prey sequel, alongside Amber Midthunder. The director of the Predator sequel was asked if there's a chance of bringing Schwarzenegger back into the franchise. Released in 2022, Prey is a sci-fi action flick marking the 5th installment in the Predator franchise. It takes us back to the northern Great Plains in the 1700s. Now, director Dan Trachtenberg is mulling over plans for the next film. Prey fans are eager to find out if they'll get to see Arnold Schwarzenegger in the upcoming sequel, although there's no confirmation yet. The director mentioned to Variety that he's still figuring out how to bring back Arnie or Glover for Prey 2. In the first Predator flick from 1987, Arnold Schwarzenegger played the lead role, and in Predator 2 from 1990, Danny Glover took on the role of LAPD Lieutenant Mike Harriman. While it's still being discussed what's next for Predator and Prey, Trachtenberg has mentioned that exciting conversations are happening. He mentioned, "I can't say anything about that right now, but I'll say while we were finishing the movie, we were having really exciting conversations. The studio, the writer, and the producers were all brainstorming about what crazy things we could do next, and the ideas haven't stopped flowing. Everyone's still thinking about how awesome things could be in the future." Even though Prey 2 hasn't been officially announced yet, director Dan Trachtenberg has mentioned having some ideas for a sequel. If we were to make a guess, it'd be safe to say we might see a Prey sequel in 2025. We can catch Predator and Predator 2 on Apple TV. From the original Predator to Prey, this alien hunter has taken on some big Hollywood names over the years, but which movie in the saga is the best? The Yachtja Hunter first appeared in the movies in 1987's Predator, where it went after action star Arnold Schwarzenegger. While things didn't turn out too great for the alien warrior in that encounter, it set the stage for the Predator franchise to become a huge hit. Over the years since the Hollywood film came out, it's become one of its most iconic series. The Predator franchise has had its highs and lows. It always hasn't been as steady as fans might have wanted, but thanks to its frequent appearances on both the big screen and streaming platforms, we've got plenty of thrilling movies that'll keep you hooked from start to finish. The Predator series regained its former glory when its latest installment, the prequel Prey, premiered on Hulu in the summer of 2022 and was a huge hit. Since the original Predator movie came out, there have been 6 sequels, some direct and other spin-offs, reboots, or even a prequel. But how do they stack up against each other? Let's take a look and rank them all to find out. Aliens vs. Predator: Requiem had the potential to be great. The 2007 movie introduced the exciting idea of Predalien, a new and scary enemy, but sadly, it didn't live up to that promise. The movie missed the mark for several reasons. One major was that it went overboard with its R rating. There were some good points. The Predalien looked impressive and made for a strong villain, and the Wolf Predator was an interesting new version of the Hunter, but overall, the movie failed to deliver on its interesting concept. The Predator aimed to relaunch the franchise after nearly a decade, with Shane Black directing and some exciting teasers. Hopes were high for a 2018 film, as it promised to be both a sequel and a reboot. Unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. The movie sidelined well-developed characters for the sake of the plot and relied too much on CGI. Despite its flaws, the movie is entertaining. Predators was the first standalone movie in the franchise in nearly 20 years, stepping away from the Alien vs. Predator series. Although it was a sequel, it focused on the hunters as mythology while keeping the story simple, which is why it worked so well. At its core, Predators is all about the hunt. Among all the other Predator movies, Predators was the most successful in trying something different. The characters may not be the most well-rounded, and the introduction of the Super Predator, Berserker, started a trend of replacing the iconic Predator with a bigger threat. Predator 2 came out in a time when sequels weren't trying to build massive franchises, but simply wanted to tell another story in a known universe. This film essentially follows the formula of the first Predator movie, but flips it by moving the hunt to downtown Los Angeles. The Predator, which thrives on heat and conflict, finds both in the city. It targets Danny Glover's character, Lieutenant Harrigan, hoping to find a worthy opponent. Predator 2 wasn't well received initially, but opinions have improved over time. This is good because the movie is an exciting ride. While it still might be a product of its time, Predator 2 is still a good film. Honestly, it's almost as good as the original. Predator introduced Arnold Schwarzenegger to his greatest enemy in 1987. A rescue mission quickly turns into a desperate fight for survival, and nothing would ever be the same again. The idea for a movie like Predator wasn't groundbreaking since Hollywood was already good at making monster movies, but Predator was unique because it was essentially a B-movie with an A-list cast. What really made it stand out, though, was its incredible writing. Predator is one of the most important movies of the 80s, starting the franchise on such a high note that sequels have struggled to match its greatness. However, over 3 decades later, one sequel might just have come close. Prey had high expectations right from the start. After years of disappointing sequels, the Predator franchise went back to basics, focusing on what made the first 2 movies so thrilling: the hunt. Few could have predicted how successful it would be. Somehow, the 2022 film turned out to be the best Predator movie of them all. The story centers on a young Comanche woman named Naru who wants to prove herself as a hunter. She gets her chance when a predator arrives on Earth and starts killing her people. Prey doesn't get bogged down with complicated mythology. It's a simple, thrilling story about a hunter determined to prove herself against the most fearsome opponent. It brings back the magic of Predator, but makes it even more gripping. Its streaming success suggests a bright future for the franchise. Do share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.